Okay, cue the slides. So first of all, thanks to the RIOT team for inviting me to speak tonight. So cancer is a word that we all can relate to because we've all had family members who have either developed the disease or perhaps even died from the disease. And so it's a very emotional word for all of us. So as scientists, we face the same challenges and we understand the disease from the personal point of view. But in addition, we are tasked with the role of trying to find the cause of cancer, to understand it, and actually to invent new therapies for different types of cancer. So I'm going to actually talk about what I think are the three questions that sort of form the basis of the evening tonight. So the first question really relates to what is cancer? And it sounds like a very simple question, but the complexity of this disease is such that it's not even one disease, it's dozens of different diseases involving hundreds of genetic pathways and thousands of genes. So one of the challenges we have is trying to understand this set of diseases in such a way that we can make sense of it all. So two American scientists about 10 years ago created what they called, or organized things into what they called the hallmarks of cancer. And there are 10 of them, which sort of simplify the disease process. So the first two have to do, the first one that I'm going to talk about very quickly in 15 seconds is the fact that cancer cells are unstable. They're a moving target. They're constantly mutating and they're constantly evolving. And that's the problem with actually treating cancer because it is a moving target. Cancer cells are metabolically very active. They actually switch the way that they get energy from to grow and divide. So they're different from normal cells in that manner. Two other characteristics which sort of go side by side with each other. One is that cancer cells are fast and furious. They're dividing like crazy. The accelerator is to the floor, and these cells are always on, and they're always growing, and they're always proliferating. Then, to make matters worse, these cancer cells don't have any brakes. So they're like the runaway train. So they're the normal tumor suppressor genes that should be on and causing cells to calm down, cancer cells, aren't there. So these cells are running away wild. So part of the problem then becomes that these cells actually don't even die naturally like normal cells do when they reach the end of their lifespan. So they won't die naturally, and that means that there's no culling of these cancer cells as one would expect. Eventually what happens is these cells can become immortal. So that makes matters even worse because you can't get rid of them, the body can't get rid of them, and they're around forever, and they keep mutating and dividing and going rogue within the individual's tissues. Eventually, some of these cancer cells will metastasize. They'll leave their primary site, take off into the body, and set up shop somewhere else. So that makes matters even worse, this metastasis. And many cancers deaths are caused by metastasis. They also have the unique ability to actually start generating their own blood supply. So they can work with the microenvironment of the tissue that they're in and create their own blood supply and grow in that secondary site. So they really are rogue and they really have taken off. And then finally, cancer cells are outside the normal surveillance of the immune system. So they can avoid immune destruction and actually cause the immune system to help promote tumor growth. So this is why cancer is really hard to defeat. These cancer cells are evolving. You think you've got it in your sights, and then the cells evolve and create new cancer cells and go rogue, and you really can't get those cancer cells and kill them. They can also hide. They can be dormant for years, and they're very, very good at it. So you think you've gotten all the cancer cells, and some of them are hiding in nooks and crannies and are undetectable until they flare up a second or third time. So our job then is threefold. One is to find cancer cells. This is the job of researchers, to use fancy new imaging and diagnostic tools, and also bioinformatics, the fancy computer tools to actually find out what's happening in these cancer cells. That way we can understand them. And we do that by collaborating between basic scientists and our clinical colleagues in something that's called translational research, to move what we're finding in the lab into the clinic and then back again. And then finally, we're able to target them. So we are creating new drugs that are like the specialized stormtroopers here that can target different pathways in different cancer types and kill those cancer cells. So we've moved into an area known as personalized treatment. So in the same way as you can hunt for bin Laden, you can hunt for cancer cells if we understand and have all that information to find, evaluate, target, control, and cure cancer. And that is the basics of cancer in 5 minutes.